Is it rude to yawn on camera? Hello, welcome back to my story. If you did not know, my name is Harley Nouveau, and the purpose of this channel is to document my journey towards my North Star while hopefully helping you find yours along the way. So if that seems like the place for you, subscribe and add your name to the storybook that is my life. It's been quite a while since I've done a review of something. I'm pretty sure if you've never been here before, you might not be aware that I am like single white female obsessed with Colourpop cosmetics. Why? List a reason. And I believe I've talked about a few of their products from the Pretty Fresh line, including the primer, tinted moisturizer, and concealer. And lo and behold, they just came out recently with a foundation. Do you like my eyeshadow? I haven't decided how I feel about it. Also, I did my brows differently, and I'm really kind of digging this bitchy look, although as always one is better than the other. So in today's chapter we're going to be finding out if the Colourpop Pretty Fresh foundation is a happily ever after or a happily never after. I've already moisturized my face because I'm proactive. So the first thing I'm going to do is use a primer. I feel like it only makes sense to use the Pretty Fresh primer just because I'm sure they're intended to be used together since they're the same line. I've been trying to use my hands less because, you know, it's not really sanitary or professional for a makeup artist to use their hands as much as I do. Using this stippling brush, why? Because it's the first one I grabbed. I'm going to apply this primer all over my face. If you notice me looking off camera, that's because I have a mirror right here. Also, ignore my backdrop problems. I still haven't figured out exactly how to set it up in a way that I like. The hanging stand was not working for me because I feel like it looked very like... So I have it on the wall, but unfortunately, I didn't think that through all the way, so you and I will be on a journey together. Now, while that is soaking in, let's talk about this foundation, shall we? According to the Colourpop website, get a natural, healthy looking skin with the Skin Perfecting Medium Buildable Coverage Foundation. This foundation does retail for $16 and comes in 42 shades, which is pretty good. And if you can see, the shade range is not too bad either. I am in color 10N because, you know, she's a literal vampire. This foundation is 1 fluid ounce and its active ingredients include Hydra Fresh Complex Hyaluronic Acid and coconut water. So if you don't like any of that, steer clear. Now, as I said, I do have experience with this entire line and I actually really enjoyed everything that they had, especially the Pretty Fresh setting mist, as you can tell because it's almost gone. The primer, it's okay. If you've watched my video about primers, you know that my thoughts on that are not the greatest. And the concealer is honestly, I think, my favorite concealer I've ever used. Tinted moisturizer, I do like, however, I feel like it settles in your fine lines a bit. So I am looking forward to trying this out. I checked out the color match the other day. That's why you can see some sticking out of here. I don't know how to get this out of the bottle without getting that on it. Yeah, without further ado, let's get into this application, shall we? I'm gonna do the brush side first, which is gonna be this side of my face. I'm gonna use my Luxie foundation brush for that because it's very dense and I like the way that it makes the finish look. And I always start in this area because, you know, why not? I've been trying to do like a softer approach to holding my brushes. I love the color on this, by the way. I feel like it looks very close to my neck. Slightly pinkish, but also, if you know anything about me, you know that I normally do my concealer first, but for the sake of this review, I'll do the foundation first. Okay, so right away looking at it, you can tell the color coverage itself is pretty decent. Again, matches my neck a lot more than this side of my face. As far as coverage overall, it is a medium finish, and you can tell that. I don't know how much these beauty lights are affecting it. Let me see if I can turn it down without going completely dark in here. Okay, that helped a bit. As you can tell, my acne redness is still showing through. I'm sure if you color correct or conceal ahead of time, that would obviously not be a problem. But as far as the coverage goes, I actually really like it. And I really like the finish that it gives to the skin overall. So I've started, I don't know if I talked about, ooh, damn. I don't know if I talked about in a previous video, I started doing BB creams instead of foundation, and this Mistro BB cream is definitely it, sis. This is $22, however, and money kind of matters in the economy right now, so I wanted to try to find something similar. And a lot of the commentary on this I was seeing said that it had some similar properties to a BB cream. And thus, I wanted to try it out because I love Colourpop, I love BB cream, and yeah. So obviously, if you did not know, which who knows how new to makeup you are, it's very common knowledge that beauty sponges shear out your foundation. You can tell looking at it that this has slightly less coverage than this side. I do like the finish of it, however, but the caveat, which you don't know this because you didn't see, is I used the whole pump for this side of my face and I used half a pump for this side of my face. That's why I've kind of been leaning more into brushes lately. Most I'll do is go back over the side that I did it with a brush with the Beauty Blender afterwards to make it look a little more skin-like, but I definitely think as far as how it looks on the face, I do prefer the brush a little bit. However, you might like the Beauty Blender side. It's all just personal preference. So let me zoom in a bit. Ignore my messy eyeshadow application because, you know, it's me, obviously, it's messy. Actually, as I said, I really like the way that it looks. I'm most concerned, and you can kind of see it right here, about this spot on my forehead. Usually foundations will sink into it. It's like my only big wrinkle that I have to worry about. So I'm interested to see by the end of the night how it settles there. But I'm gonna go ahead and, with this application done, Beauty Blender brush, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my face and I will be right back. Okay, in the event that you're wondering why I didn't record myself applying any of those other products, it's because I only have a limited amount of memory on my phone at the moment. So while I really thought about recording everything, I don't know if it's the most pertinent and I gotta prioritize. And since this is about the foundation itself, not everything else, this is what the other product looks like when applied on top of the foundation. This is more of a user error. I put too much powder on my inner corners when I was trying to set my under eye. So it kind of snagged a little bit right here. I also have a scar there, but I really like the way that all of the products applied on top of it. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about is wearability, just because from my experience, hydrating foundations, especially if you're not someone with already dry skin, do have a tendency to get extremely oily or break down throughout the day. Now, you can circumvent that by blotting it with like a tissue when you apply your foundation, just to pick up any excess, and then obviously you can do touch-ups with powder or tissue paper throughout the day to soak up some of the excess oil. I'm not going to do any of that though, because I want this to specifically be about how this wears. Normal day-to-day people don't really go around carrying all that, especially if you're somebody who does a very light makeup routine. So I'm intrigued to see how this works throughout the day. I will do periodic check-ins in different lights so that you can tell how it looks, but as of right now, I am really enjoying it. So yeah, I will check in with you shortly. So it's been a couple hours since I put it on. Currently eating. And so far, so good, honestly. I mean, there are things I would change about my face 100%. And I feel like it's not just me. I've been seeing this online. There's like a coronavirus curse or something where all of the people who are doing makeup are noticing that their makeup is not working the same anymore. I feel like I've been struggling to get a good looking face for weeks now, but as far as the foundation goes, I feel like it's looking very, I don't know if dewy is the right word, natural. I haven't blotted it, like I said, so there might be parts of my face that look more oily than others. I do have combination skin, so I definitely have an oily T-zone. But yeah, so far, really digging it. I will make one note, for me at least, and this isn't about the efficacy of the product, but I probably should have mixed in a little bit of my yellow foundation mixer because I noticed, especially in sunlight, that it's not yellow enough in a lot of places. It's like slightly too pink. It's not as bad in here, but like when I stepped outside, there was a noticeable difference. That yellow mixer, I swear, has been saving my life. Let's check in one. I'll check in again in a little while. I'm at my front door. So it is now 7 p.m. It's been about 4 hours since I last checked in. This is what I'm looking at. I don't have like the greatest skin, as you can tell, so don't expect perfectly smooth. I don't use smoothing filters. But so far, I'm still liking the way that it's looking. I'm not noticing any like creasing really. It's not really sinking in here more than anything else. And as far as breaking down, it does look like it's breaking down a tad bit on my nose. Granted, I also use blush on my nose, so it's hard to tell, but it's keeping up really well so far. So I'll check in again one last time and then give my final thoughts. Did you know there's a show on Netflix that is technically gay, but it's not overtly gay because it's made in China and they can't be overtly gay, but it's gay. That's what I'm watching. Anyway, I can't show you because I'm recording on my phone, but it is now 10 o'clock. I have officially had this foundation on for 10 hours now. So it's my final check-in. So let's take a look. I haven't touched up anything or anything like that. I was pleased to find, I don't know how well you can see because of this lighting, that wrinkle in my forehead continued throughout the entire day to not look overly defined. Obviously the product sank into there. There's nothing in this world that will prevent products from sinking into fine lines. It's just how severely they look. And looking at this up close, it's definitely one of the better ones I've seen. Now I did have a mistake when I applied my makeup today where I used too much powder, so it is probably cakier than it would have been. But when I use like this BB cream, you can hardly tell, as opposed to when I use something like this, which is a foundation that I love, it really sinks in there. So A+ on that front. As far as my general pores, I mean, it just looks, I don't want to say like my skin, but better, because I just wasn't that great with putting stuff on today. I'm not noticing any indentations in my smile lines, and typically that is another place that foundation likes to set, especially the less quality ones. I'm not really noticing much breakdown of note. Obviously, I'm going to be shiny as hell because I haven't touched up on that front, but typically when I use a lot of foundations by hour 5 to 10, in that range, we'll just say, you can really see my skin shining through. I'm not noticing that in any spots that aren't where I was just touching. Like I touched my nose a few times because habit. I eat food, so I'm sure it's a little wonky here, but I'm very impressed. I think the finish maintained like a really great look. I think the coverage stayed consistent the entire time, and yeah, honestly, I'm very pleasantly surprised. Not surprised because I love Colourpop, but I'm pleased for $16, and I'm very finicky. It's something I definitely enjoyed. So for that reason, I'm going to say that the Colourpop Pretty Fresh foundation is a happily ever after. I'm talking quieter now because it's quieter in the house. If you're somebody that is into a medium coverage skin-like finish that has a very good staying power and makes your skin look really healthy, then I definitely think you should check it out. It's something that I feel like is a very good addition to any collection. Now anime is appearing on my screen. So with all of that being said, I want to thank you for watching this review. Hopefully you're able to check this thing out. As always, I am Harley Nouveau, and I wish each of you every happiness until our stars next to mine.